Hey there, coaches. I'm Rich Prado, owner of Play in School and host of Travel Ball Talk, where I talk to travel ball coaches from the best organizations about the current and future state of travel baseball. Today's show heads to the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia to feature Eddie Phelps, founder of Georgia Baseball and Softball Academy. Over the last several years, we've heard a lot of people talking about the lack of African American kids playing baseball. While others talked about it, Eddie did something about it. I hope you enjoy this episode of Travel Ball Talk. Before we get to today's show, coaches, what if there was a drop-dead simple platform that put all of your players' up-to-date data and videos at your fingertips? And what if that platform cost your family less than a trip to Starbucks each month? Good news. I've just built it. Our new player profile platform might be the cleanest and simplest way to have your players maintain their data and film in one place. Easy to share with any college coach or pro scout. For full details and to set up a demo, visit playinschool.com/platform. All right, welcome back to another episode of Travel Ball Talk. I'm your host, Rich Prado, owner of Play in School, and today we're heading down to the Atlanta area to talk with Eddie Phelps, founder of Gbsa, that's Georgia Baseball and Softball Academy. So we're gonna find out everything there is to know about Eddie and Gbsa today. I hope. Eddie, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good here, Rich.
Well, before we get too far, I have to thank you, man. We tried to do this yesterday. For those of you guys listening, we tried to do this yesterday, and we just had some technical difficulties. Just couldn't get it going, and Eddie was bearing with me, and got the tech issues solved, and so. The nice part is we had a regular phone call yesterday that wasn't recorded, and really enjoyed getting to know Eddie. So looking forward to today to learn as much as we can about Gbsa. So Eddie, why don't I stop talking for a few minutes, and why don't you introduce yourself, give our listeners an idea what your baseball background is, and then we'll talk about Gbsa in a bit.
Okay, Eddie Phelps. I actually grew up in Decatur, Georgia. I went to McNair High School in DeKalb County in Atlanta. I actually got a scholarship to go play baseball at Howard University in Washington, D.C. And from there, I got an opportunity to get my name called by the Milwaukee Brewers.
Nice. Well, that was cool. That was short and sweet. What position did you play at Howard?
I played second and short.
Middle infielder like myself. Nice. And what year did you get drafted?
It was 2001.
Hey, we're right about the same age. I graduated in 01, and you came out in 01. Did you get drafted your junior year or senior year?
It was actually my senior year.
Your senior year. Cool. And you signed and you went into professional baseball that summer right after school?
Yes, signed for some peanuts.
That's what happens with those senior signs. You got a bag of peanuts and maybe some cleats. So what was that? Because hey, man, listen, I wasn't lucky enough to even get that bag of peanuts. I think we hear the stories of the guys who get the charter jets sent for them, right. And the big bags of cash instead of the bags of peanuts and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. What was your experience like in pro baseball? Because it's like they're not going to hand a whole lot. They're not going to give guys who they give peanuts to a whole lot of extra chances. What was your experience like, and how long was it?
Well, it actually only lasted like 2.5 years, Rich. I actually had a couple of injuries that I actually had prior to from high school and from college that actually pushed me out a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. But as you said, like if you're not really a top round pick, they're really not going to keep you around as long because they don't have that much invested in you.
Yeah, that's 2.5 years that you didn't have to get a day job though, so that's something.
Right, absolutely.
So you got a nice piece of paper framed and hanging on the wall from Howard University, class of 2001.
Absolutely.
Give us the highlight reel of being at such a prestigious university, obviously an HBCU school in the nation's capital.
Right. Actually, going to Howard was the best decision for me. I actually was able to have a great network that's set up now with guys that I played with. Example, Edwin Thompson, that's at Georgetown University. Now we actually played together at Howard University, and we actually have a couple more guys that played with us that are actually scouts right now. So it actually helps me with guys now in the organization. Even with the college rankings with Edwin, when he was at Eastern Kentucky, I actually sent 9 or 10 kids to him to play there. And some of them are actually getting drafted this year. Then my own son is committed to him at Georgetown University right now.
Edwin, for you guys who maybe don't know him, if you guys are West Coasters or something, Edwin's one of the best. He was, if I'm not mistaken, the pitching coach at Duke when a young middle infielder named Marcus Stroman stepped on campus down there, and I think they maybe transitioned him to pitch a little bit, and probably didn't have to do too much coaching on that kid. He was pretty athletic.
Right.
But Thompson is one of the best, and when I found out he was going to be the next coach at Georgetown, when he got that gig, that was very exciting. Very cool stuff. And I'll tell you what, just from a 30,000 foot view, what you just described is the importance of a network, and people, I think a lot of people rely too much on luck and happenstance, but your network is what makes the world go round,
Absolutely.
And it's not just in baseball, it's in life, it's in looking for work, it's in, who's the realtor you're going to use to buy your house, where are you going to send your kids to school? I mean, literally in your case with your son, you found a guy you like and trust, and you've had a long relationship with, and your son will eventually play for Coach Thompson. So,
absolutely.
Very, very cool stuff. Well, let's go back to 2012, I believe is what you told me yesterday when we were talking, is when Gbsa was started. Give us the the thought process before you put your shingle out there and start up this new thing. What was the baseball scene, and what got you thinking, hey, I'm gonna start my own little thing down here?
Okay, so basically what happened, Rich, I came back home from playing ball and started coaching at one of the local parks that I grew up at, Gresham Park, which is one of the top parks ever. I'm a DeKalb County product of Georgia, so I actually went back in to start working with a lot of African-American kids at that point. A lot of the kids actually had started migrating up to East Cobb to play sports. And when I came back, I would go to some of the games and I would see a lot of these kids in the semifinals and finals. They were sitting on the bench, but they would play all the way up until that point. So what I did, I actually asked for a sit down with all the parents that came from the DeKalb County area that was migrating there, so we could sit down and talk about that issue. So I was able to actually convince a lot of these guys to actually stay and play with me. So the fall of 2012, we actually assembled 3 teams and actually started playing tournaments. And a lot of guys that were in those groups were actually guys that you actually see on TV right now. Akil Badu is a product of Gbsa, which is one of the hottest rookies in the league with the Detroit Tigers. Cedric Mullins with the Baltimore Orioles, one of our guys also. But we have a host of guys that actually are still in the minor leagues and getting drafted. I mean, coming out of college now that were in those initial groups. So we actually started playing. We would go up to East Cobb and actually start playing in the tournaments there. And when we first initially walked into the park, it was like, who are all these African American kids on there? And we only wore black. The first season, we had no other uniform colors. It was all black, and we were all black. So people were like, who are these guys coming in here? And we had like too little uniforms. So if you wore a large, I'd make sure you wore a small. So you looked buffer than really were. So we would actually go out and we won tournaments. And basically in the next 2 years, we actually eventually won a BCS national tournament for a perfect game with those guys. So it was to basically come back and create a different situation or different conversation for our guys that were coming off of the DeKalb County side to be able to put us in the same conversations as the East Cobbs, the Team Elites, and the Georgia Bombers and 643 also. So we created that to make our own platform for our kids.
That's that's pretty good stuff. You know, if you're coming into the show completely unfamiliar with GBSA, go over to their Twitter account, which is GBSA at GBSA Rays, or their website, which is gbsaraysbaseball.org. It takes about 1 second to kind of pick up on the fact that this team looks different than most travel baseball teams. I mean, the reality is travel baseball in a lot of circumstances is quite the country club sport lately, isn't it? And say again?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a lot of kids who look a whole lot the same. So when you see the photos and you got I don't know, some of the most of these team photos I'm seeing is probably 95% African American kids. That doesn't fit in the travel baseball world of 2021. But you know, I was telling you yesterday, thinking about my experiences working with a bunch of these travel baseball clubs that I work with, is that it seems to me that the programs run by African American coaches seem to have no problems finding African American players. And when I noticed that, the light bulb just absolutely went off. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know, we talk so much about the lack of black kids playing baseball, and everybody wants to say it's money this and there's 100 different reasons, and I'm going, is it as simple as recruiting more African American coaches? Like, could it be that simple? You know, what are your thoughts on that? If we can go out and find a whole lot of guys our age who are African American to join us in coach and travel baseball clubs, does that help us get more kids?
Yes, I think that will actually definitely make us get more kids involved. The one thing that you hear constantly is, black kids are not playing baseball anymore. But like you said, look at my website. Look at our teams as we come in. We're majority African American. Now, originally the question that you asked me was the beginning, and I didn't tell you about the direction that we're going in.
Yeah.
So over the last 3 or 4 years, the program has diversed a little bit more. So we actually have African American kids, white kids. We have kids from the Bahamas. Like I was telling you yesterday, I got a couple of kids from the Bahamas staying at my house right now. We had kids in from Panama, get kids in from the Dominican and things like that over the summer. So the dynamics look a little different now, but it's still, if you were looking at and you were saying, hey, who has minorities playing in there into their organizations, we have a little bit of everything that plays here. Mm-hmm. So those guys have no problem going on to the next level, whether it's college or playing pro ball, because playing here, you get that experience anyway. We're playing with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's honestly, it's kind of in my last podcast with Adam Aiken from Combine Academy, which is in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. He's got a bunch of international kids at this academy, be it basketball players or baseball players or even golfers. And I mean, the thing is, it creates such an opportunity for growth for these kids. And I mean, not that they don't talk about it in terms of that. All they know is they're getting to hang out with kids from different backgrounds, different cultures, in some circumstances, different languages, which is amazing, because when they move on to the next level, whatever level that may be, that might be college, guess what? College is pretty diverse. I know mine was. And I went to kind of just a regular state school here in Virginia. It wasn't some, it's like intentionally international type of setting. It just attracted kids from all over the world. So to be able to put a 15, 16, 17-year-old in an environment with, kids from different backgrounds, different socioeconomic, different parts of the world, different skin colors, that's a positive thing. That's a very positive thing. So, absolutely. So now moving forward, 2021, we're talking about 9 years later. This thing is not a fresh. You're not rookies anymore. You've been around the block here a little bit. What do you see in the next few years? As far as the direction you think you're going to go with GBSA?
Well, I think the main thing is to keep on expanding on everything that we have going on. Like right now, we have things here in Georgia. We have a couple of guys in basically like a smaller type academy in Jacksonville, Florida. And we actually also partner with another group out of Puerto Rico. And our biggest partnership is with Georgia Premier Academy that's in Statesboro, Georgia, where we actually send guys down to actually go to school and play down there during the season. We send them down for summer camps and things like that, and all of their guys come up to play fall ball and summer ball with us. So it's just a matter of now basically expanding a little bit more, basically getting like a dorm type setting here for where we can actually house more kids in the summer and things like that that's coming from different places, because we actually have the training facilities to be able to train the guys here also, but we just need that extra space now to start housing guys.
And the beautiful thing about to bring guys in, let's just say, I was on the phone with a coach from New York yesterday. To bring guys in for the summer to New York doesn't make as much sense as bringing guys into Atlanta for the summer, because the entire baseball world comes to you. So right. to bring them to New York, to then have to put them on a plane or car to go somewhere else is like you set up this living situation that they're not even living in half the summer. So, but for you guys, you set up a dorm or apartment situation. These kids come to you from all over the country, all over the world, wherever, and the baseball world just comes to them. What an advantage, by the way. These clubs, some of the clubs you've already mentioned that are in the Atlanta area, what an advantage to basically be able to sleep in your own bed every single night and have all the tournaments just come to you. So cool. So cool. So, speaking of the Premier, Georgia Premier Sox, they're on the list to hopefully join me on this podcast. Maybe you can put in a good word for them. the folks who followed me for any amount of time know that the academy world is of great interest to me, and we've had several of the academies that the Premier Sox play against already on the show. So hopefully you can set me up with the guys who run that facility. But what a nice kind of symbiotic relationship you guys have, where they handle the school year and they handle basically the spring season. They're handling the academics for the kids who are in the academy, and then they hand those guys off to you for the summer and for the fall showcase seasons. That's awesome.
Absolutely. That has actually been a big thing for both sides on that. They've had a lot of big guys that have come in down there that, like Daniel Espino, that was handed off to us at age 14 or 15 and was here playing in the summer and playing in the fall also. That ended up being a first-round pick for the Cleveland Indians. So it's a great partnership, because a lot of our guys that even come from here that even go down and train for the summer, the training program is immaculate. I actually sent my own son down this past year, and he was like 80 throwing across the diamond. Before he went down, he came back throwing 87, 88 across the diamond. He gained 40 pounds of muscle and trimmed down and got faster also. So the program works. At the end of the day, it works.
He put on 40 pounds. What do they feed that man? Whatever they're making in tuition, they're going to lose in meal plan. Because
they eat like 7 times a day.
They are shoveling the food into those kids down there. Holy cow!
It works. It works.
Obviously the nutrition is a big part of that. Obviously the strength and conditioning is a big part of that. And then also kids happen to grow in their teenage years naturally. When you combine those three, 40 pounds is still pretty impressive.
Right.
That doesn't happen on accident. Right. So that's pretty solid stuff. How big is your son?
He's 6'3", 210 right now.
Oh my gosh, he's not a kid. He's a grown man. Man. Holy smokes. So let's talk about this coming up summer. Will y'all go anywhere outside of the region? Like, do y'all head to Florida or Louisiana or Texas for anything, or do you just guys camp out and let teams come to you in Atlanta?
Majority we're here. Our second tournament is actually down in West Palm Beach. Another group that we play with, Prospect Select, down there. Pretty much every year. So we'll be down there June 8th to June 12th. And then we actually go to another event with those guys in Birmingham, like towards the end of June.
Okay, so
here.
Yeah, that's so two. So at least you get your kids on the road a little bit. Get them, because honestly, that's just another piece of travel ball, right? It's like, it's like, hey, you got to learn how to act in the hotel and on the road, and when you get to a field that you're unfamiliar with, how do you present yourself and stuff? Which actually leads me into this next topic, which I know you wanted to talk about, was the importance of travel ball, for you and your guys. Let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah. So I believe, like Rich, with me, you, and other guys that are a little older than us were coming through, like, we didn't have this platform at all for travel ball.
No. American Legion.
Right. It's like, and then you better hope you were playing on a team with somebody that that the scouts and stuff want to see.
100%.
To actually have a little luck in that. So it has changed. Travel ball has changed the dynamics of a lot of things. And the reason it is important, like I say, we can go into a perfect game tournament or PBR tournament or prospect select tournament, and guys want to actually go somewhere where they can see multiple kids that they want to see at one time in one place.
Correct.
Rather than actually coming to see you over here at this high school, over here. Like, it doesn't happen coincidentally. Like I tell a lot of people, like, there's no scout riding down the street and just like, oh, it's a high school game over here today. Let me go see who's playing.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not already identified by playing in a travel program, you're going to get lost in the shuffle.
Correct.
A lot of times at this point, it's totally different. This is the internet generation right here. So they do everything as far as look at making their videos with showcases and things like that with the travel ball piece, and actually, like I say, playing the WWBAs and things like that, where you have 300 and some teams that are covered, where scouts and college coaches can come out and watch those guys all at one place. So the travel ball piece is way more important now than ever before.
The efficiency of it has been the most important thing to the success, because it's created such efficiency for the college coaches to be able to go and sit in the stands and not move all day and see dozens, if not hundreds, of prospects is tremendous. Right. It's tremendous.
Absolutely.
Now the flip side is, guess what, kids? You're probably not the big fish in the small pond, like back when we were doing American Legion. So you better bring your A game, because all these guys you're playing against are good.
Absolutely.
You know, so we're talking about how there's so many kids in one spot. The efficiency is so good, but that doesn't make it just these opportunities still don't just fall in the lap of players. You still gotta work for them, and hopefully you have a network around you that's working on your behalf. And that was one of the things you had talked about. Can you expand on how the importance of the kids playing for coaches who are going to have their back?
Mm-hmm. So the thing is, like, you have a lot of programs that are just money pits. They're not going to be honest with your kid about his abilities. They just want to collect your check. They're not going to sit back and be like, hey, I can make a call to this coach, or I'm going to send out information about this kid to different coaches, because they really don't care about your kid. All they want to do is pad their pockets. So you actually need to be in a program where you're in touch with the owners, the coaches, and things like that, to actually sit down and understand what plan they have for your kid. When kids come here, we ask for kids to give us 5 D1 schools that they would like to go to, 5 D2, and 5 JUCOs that they would want to go to, and have them research also what would they like to major in. That's how we set up our guys to really figure out our plan into having that kid placed in where he's able to go. I can reach out to schools at that point and say, hey, got this kid, got this GPA, got these test scores, plays this position. What do you have in these positions that are going to be coming open next year, year after, things of that nature? So that way we're not just putting kids in school to where, oh, I got a scholarship, but then they don't have anything to offer that I want to major in. That's not going to help that kid at the end of the year, because first off, you only got 1,200 kids going to get drafted every year. That's not going to happen for everybody. So you need to be in a situation to where you're able to get your degree to come back and help your community, or go on and basically take care of your family as you're going to get older and things like that. So you have to be able to identify things that you like also outside of baseball that you would like to do for the rest of your life.
100%. 100%. You talk about a handful of things that all go together, which makes this thing so complicated. It's the skill set. Can the kid play at that program? It's the academics. Is there something that's going to stimulate that kid academically that he's going to want to study, and not only want to study, have success in studying.
Right.
Is there is there the opportunity to set yourself up for future success, whether that be with baseball or outside of baseball? And for most of us, it's going to be outside of professional baseball. As you pointed out, those spots are limited. And by the way, those spots might be shrinking. I don't know if you're following professional baseball at all. You should be worried that the number of people who get paid to play baseball could be on the decline. So yeah, this is not a one-dimensional situation with, he can swing the bat and that's it. It's a lot deeper than that, and having coaches that have the information at hand so that they can pass that information on to the appropriate schools is key. And to kind of come full circle to the beginning of the conversation is also having a strong network, having people like and trust, and who know, like, and trust you. And if you're going to put your neck out for a kid, then that person is going to take you take your word very seriously. I get the impression that Coach Thompson or any other coach is not going to just put his job on the line, though, right? They're gonna what was that famous line? Trust but verify. They're going to trust, right? They're going to. They will, but time is money, and if I'm getting a recommendation from some guy I don't know, I may not have time to go verify. If I'm getting a recommendation on a kid from a coach I do know and like and trust, then I'm gonna make the time. I'm gonna make the time to verify that.
Absolutely.
So, that's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Your guys seem to be in good hands. You're very lucky to be right there where the whole baseball world comes to your backyard every summer.
Correct.
Man, I know some organizations would like to be able to cut down on their travel. It's a big part of their bill every summer. Well, I want to ask you, I always ask coaches that come on here, and we've talked about a handful of things that kind of fit into these buckets, but it's always worthwhile repeating this question and see what direction it takes us. I talk about it as, what's your thoughts on the current state of travel baseball, and I always say, hey, I want the good, the bad, and the ugly, but I always put this sort of asterisk is I'm not trying to bash anybody or any organizations when I say good and bad. Obviously, we're all in the travel ball world, and we all benefit from the travel ball world, and we all like the travel ball world, but there's always opportunities for improvement. So, thinking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, you can take it any direction that you want to go. Is there whether you want to talk about spots, opportunities for improvement, or talk about the things you love the most, and let's see where this thing takes us.
Right. Well, I think the good is obviously, like I said, it gives opportunity for kids to play in one location, to be seen all at once. One thing that I see as bad about travel ball, it basically destroyed a lot of rec programs. And basically it did it by trying to create different levels for kids to play. Like, certain kids shouldn't play travel ball.
100%.
Not for them at the end of the day. And the rec programs are actually what suffered during the boom of travel ball, because you don't as a parent, you don't want your kid to be the only one in his class that's like, ooh, I play travel ball, like, and I'm playing rec ball. It's almost shunned upon. Outside of them actually looking at the skill level of their kid and say, well, you're not there yet. Let's go over here and play rec ball and, get us a trainer and stuff and see where it goes from there. But a lot of people want to do it just because they want to say that their kid is a travel ball kid, or
Yes.
I play over here in this program. Don't matter if I play on Team 12 in this program.
Uh-huh.
I in this program at the end of the day. So I think that's one of the most negative things that have come out of travel ball when it comes to that, and people not understanding the level of play or level of skill of their kids to give them a better shot at doing different things. Everybody's not going to be a baseball player. Everybody's not going to be a basketball, football player. You have to look at your kid individually and say, hey, this is not for you.
Yeah, you're right. And the other thing is, specifically to the little leagues, is that, you're talking about that youth age group where, where in most circumstances, there's, in all circumstances, there's no 11 and 12-year-olds getting recruited. So do we really need to be running all over the country to play in travel ball when in most towns you got pretty good little league right there if those kids played for the little league? Right. I always laugh. We have good baseball here in Richmond, and the 8-year-old team feels a need to drive down to North Carolina to play. I go, what is happening? You So anyway, but that's true, man. That's true. The little league was, I think, there's an unintended consequence of travel ball becoming so successful and popular. Was it hurt the little league? What else in there in the world of the good, the bad, and the ugly, or opportunities for improvement within the travel ball world? If you had the magic wand, are there any adjustments that you would make within the scope of travel ball?
Yeah, I just think that even in a lot of these tournaments that we play in, I think that a lot of these teams need to be kind of like verified, like college coaches do, as far as looking at kids and things of that nature. Only because I say that because, like, when you go to basically a national championship or a big time tournament to where you're spending $3,000 and $3,500 to play in a tournament, you shouldn't just be collecting some teams just to come in and play on that don't play on a different level. Because we should never go into a game where somebody's getting beat 33-0 in a top tournament. You're going to have a best of the best, have a best of the best type deal. Don't just do it just to rake in money.
Correct.
Let's make sure that we have great matchups every game.
The easiest solution to this that everybody already acknowledges is those events, those big events, and a lot of them take place in Atlanta, that have 300 or 400 teams, should have different divisions. So you bring in the same exact number of teams and you play the same exact number of games, except you're broken into Division A, B, C, and D. Right? Here's the problem. You ready for this? When the parents find out that they're in the D division, they're going to flip out, and maybe they don't go because they're in the worst division. But that would be the easiest solution. Have all the D level teams playing against each other, and there's a D level champion. And then have all the C level and B level and A level. That way your best teams are playing against the best teams. And basically what you end up doing is having 4 championships simultaneously. So it's, we've talked about it with different coaches on here, and it's like I think the benefit would be tremendous, and the benefit would outweigh losing 3 or 4 teams that get mad that they're not in the A division. Just let them go. Guys, if you don't want to come, it's fine. You know what I mean? So if I could convince Perfect Game, PBR, and anybody else hosting events with 300 or 400 teams to split these into divisions and create the most competitive events, because it's stupid to have let's call it a D-level team come down and they get absolutely just crushed in pool play. They go 0-7 in pool play and get 10 run in 5 of those 7 games. Like, why are they even there? You know?
Right.
So it's, yeah, I don't know, man. I wish if anybody's listening to this from those big event companies, they could, maybe test that somewhere. Anything else, man? What else is? God, this is so important. So important. This is the most important thing. The name is Gbsa. That stands for Georgia Baseball and Softball Academy. We need to talk about softball, because you won't be let back in the house if we don't talk about softball. Tell it, who's a softball player in your family?
Well, I actually have 2 little ones that play, a freshman in high school and a 8-year-old.
Okay.
So yeah, you're gonna get kicked out of the house, Rich.
So the freshman, she's in the thick of it. She's going to be. This is getting pretty competitive, and we're getting to the age. If baseball people that are listening think that early recruiting is wild on the baseball side, they got no clue what's going on the softball side. It is
right.
I mean, these coaches are at the big schools. They're signing 8th graders routinely, like it's normal. Like, we still get shocked. Right. We're still shocked in the baseball community when that happens, and it happens a little more and more each year. But in softball, it's like regular. It's normal.
Right.
Like mid-majors are signing 8th graders.
Right.
And it sounds crazy, but if you take a step back and you say, oh, well, girls grow earlier than boys, then you can kind of see, well, coaches get a better look at what a finished product of a softball player is going to be versus, an 8th grade boy who might be 5'2" and 100 pounds, and he turns out to be a dude once he hits his growth spurt. Do y'all have an equivalent of the travel baseball? Do you have the equivalent on the softball side?
Well, the softball side is basically just got started about 3 to 4 years ago now.
Okay.
They actually go out and compete very well every weekend, and we're growing on that side as far as numbers, as far as teams and things like that, and we'll actually be having our first groups of girls that will be eligible for scholarships and getting ready to graduate in the next year.
Wow. So there is a GBSA softball team that's out there on the circuit. So if you're a softball family listening to this, be on the lookout for them. On the lookout. We
start at the age 10. We have teams from age 10 to 16 right now.
Hey, well,
next year we'll be going to the age group.
I'm glad you mentioned that. What age groups are you on the baseball side?
We are 8 to 17.
8 to 17. Fantastic. Well, Eddie, I know you got another call coming up here soon, so I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time. This is 2 days in a row having a really fun conversation with you. Maybe we can make it 3 days in a row. If you call me tomorrow, we can talk again.
Absolutely. Might as well.
Yeah, exactly. This has been a lot of fun getting to know you and getting to know GBSA a little bit. Do you have any parting words for coaches that might be listening to this?
Well, coaches, let's make sure that we stay on development of kids and not so much of
playing off of their talent. Let's make sure we get back to the fundamentals of teaching kids how to properly field, throw, and hit, and things like that, and mechanics, pitching, and all that, rather than going for, we won a tournament this weekend. Let's make sure that we're doing it the right way so kids don't get hurt at the end of the day.
Love it. Love it. Hey, hang on 1 second. I'll stop the recording. I appreciate your time today, but hang on one more second for me.